How Al Pacino changed cinema forever. I watched Al Pacino destroy everything I thought I knew about acting in a single moment of rebellion that would redefine cinema forever. It was 1992, and I was on the set of Scent of a Woman as a young production assistant. The atmosphere was tense that morning. We were filming the pivotal courtroom scene, and something felt wrong. Terribly wrong. Al Pacino sat in his chair, script in hand, his face a storm of conflicting emotions. His character, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Slade, was supposed to deliver a few quiet lines and accept defeat. The script called for submission, for a broken man to simply give up. But I could see it in Pacino's eyes, that fire that had made him a legend. He wasn't just reading lines, he was living as Frank Slade, and Frank Slade would never go down without a fight. "This is bullshit," Pacino suddenly declared, his voice cutting through the set like a blade. The entire crew fell silent. Director Martin Brest approached cautiously, like someone approaching a caged lion. "Al, what's wrong?" Pacino stood up, his body radiating the intensity that would make this moment legendary. "This man, Frank Slade, he's not a quitter. He's a warrior who's lost everything, but his spirit isn't broken. You want him to sit there like a defeated dog?" His voice cracked with emotion. This man wouldn't stay silent. He'd burn the place down with words. I felt goosebumps rise on my arms. This wasn't just an actor disagreeing with a script, this was an artist fighting for the soul of his character. Brest looked torn. We were on a tight schedule, the studio was breathing down our necks, and changing a major scene meant rewriting, reshooting, potentially going over budget. But looking at Pacino's face, seeing the raw passion burning in those eyes, he knew this wasn't negotiable. "What do you propose?" Brest asked quietly. Pacino began pacing like a caged predator. "This boy," he pointed to Chris O'Donnell's character, "he's being railroaded by a system that wants to break him. Frank sees himself in that kid, the part of himself he lost somewhere in the darkness. He wouldn't let them destroy another soul without a fight." The emotion in Pacino's voice was so raw, so genuine, that several crew members had tears in their eyes. This wasn't acting anymore, this was truth. That night, the writers worked feverishly. Pacino was there with them until 4 a.m., not as a demanding star, but as a collaborator pouring his heart into every word. He drew from his own struggles, his own battles with the industry, his own understanding of what it means to fight for what's right when the whole world seems against you. The next morning, I watched something magical happen. When Pacino stood up in that courtroom, he wasn't Al Pacino anymore, he was Frank Slade in all his broken, magnificent glory. His voice thundered through the set. "I don't know if Charlie's silence here today is right or wrong. But I can tell you this, he won't sell anybody out to buy his future." The passion in his delivery was so intense that the camera operator was shaking. Grown men on the crew were crying. Even the extras, who had heard this speech in rehearsal, were hanging on every word as if hearing it for the first time. And that, my friends, is called integrity. That's called courage. Now that's the stuff leaders should be made of. When he finished, the silence on set was deafening. Then, spontaneously, the entire crew burst into applause. Not polite, professional applause, but the kind of thunderous ovation reserved for moments that change everything. Martin Brest had tears streaming down his face. "That's it," he whispered. "That's the take." But Pacino wasn't done. With tears in his own eyes, he looked directly at Chris O'Donnell and said, "That's how you fight for someone you believe in, kid. That's how you fight for what's right." That single act of artistic rebellion didn't just create an iconic scene, it earned Al Pacino his first and only Academy Award for Best Actor. But more than that, it proved something profound about the nature of great art. Sometimes you have to be willing to fight the system, to risk everything, to create something truly meaningful. Years later, whenever I watch that scene, I don't just see Frank Slade defending a young student. I see Al Pacino defending the integrity of his craft, refusing to let corporate convenience compromise artistic truth. That day, he didn't just act the role, he fought for the soul of it. And in doing so, he reminded all of us why we fell in love with cinema in the first place. Subscribe to the channel and stay tuned for more incredible stories to come.